Good evening. Ira Epstein with your Spider ETF stock market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for Monday evening, and we are sitting here now on June 26, 2023. Well, you know, I've been finishing up with a series that I wanted to do on electric cars. We know the Tesla stock has doubled. That's the runaway. But all the others are floundering, be it Fisker, Lucid, Rivian, and I did a special report today, and it is on, as I said, special cars. I'm just mentioning these, showing you groups of things I did. It is on Lucid. And I did Lucid for a reason. Lucid today got another $232 million promise from Aston Martin. They're going to deliver, as I understand it, drivetrains. It's amazing to me because they can't get their own cars yet out there. They're trying to get 10,000 out this year. I don't know if you've been in one. I have. I haven't driven in it. I was in a mall in Phoenix, and I got to go into the car and sit in it, and I loved it. Now they're on the streets in Chicago, which I really enjoy. By the way, I saw my first Amazon truck this weekend in downtown Chicago, and it looks just like the other ones. I didn't have a chance to talk to the driver as much as I want. I will one of these times. I'll give you a report on that. But when you look at these, you know, there's just not a lot of them out on the road. Can they make money? The Saudis own Lucid, $9 billion worth of it. They're building a factory in Saudi Arabia that will produce them. So part of it's going to become a domestic production. They want to go into the auto part. And this is a high-end car, and it just might be the product that they need. Now, are they going to blow through money? Yeah, but when you're making the kind of money they do in oil and you want to get into an industry, that's the cost of doing it. So if you're interested in seeing my report, it's all video. It was sent if you have an email with me. If not, it's really simple. Go to iraepstein.com, go under the word research, give it a click. You will see when it drops down in the menu, there's the report. Give it a click and you can view it. I think you'll find it interesting. I cover the weekly charts. I cover the daily charts. I give you a lot of fundamentals right in there. I show you the news that's come out with it. I can do a lot more there than I can do in the few minutes I am here. You can also just move your cursor up to the top here. There'll be an icon. Give it a click and away you go for that report, okay? So on these charts, you can see how Fisker's literally falling out of bed. It had come back. Remember, it tried to fill the gap here, went up again, and came right back down. Now, the interesting thing is they did deliver, I understand today, 22 of their new Oceans, and that is a phenomenal car as well. The difference between them and some of the other startups, the good news is Henry Fisker knows what he's doing. Now, does he build a mass car? He really doesn't. He's been building beautiful high-end cars that you rarely see anywhere, and now he's got himself into this, and this is his first venture with it. Let's hope that he does well. But for those of you that want to come in and you're looking for the pullbacks rather than when these stocks soar, you've got to look at these markets on the pullbacks and try to pick spots for yourself as they show. And that's what I'm showing here. As the market's coming down, you're in a full-fledged downtrend, breaking away to the downside under the 18-day average, the 200 and the 100. You're riding the lower Bollinger Band down, and you're getting very oversold. Ta-da, that's what you start looking at. Ideally, we'll get an embedded reading, and when you lose it, be the first sign the market wants to give you the first pop in the market. Those are the things you wait for. When I look at Schwab, all I see is problems still. Not that it has to go back down to these levels, but why would it go up right now is the problem. Interest rates are going to stay high. I keep seeing Interactive Broker running the ad where they're paying 4% plus on interest rates, and 1/10 of that's being paid by Schwab. You know, and they keep saying, and I know who they're going after, why are you keeping your money there if it's just sitting? Well, first of all, you can go to money market funds. There's plenty of products that Schwab has, and they are a supermarket of everything. So let's not put it down that way. But it is a problem, and why would it go up in this environment? When we come to the gasoline fund, as I see it, you know, we're in the summer driving season. We've begun. The kids are out of school. The big July 4th holidays here. People are going on their summer vacations. But the proof of the pudding is Each car out there as a whole, gets more miles per gallon than they did a year, 2 or 3 years ago, especially during the pandemic. So new cars get better mileage. People are driving accordingly. Gasoline isn't cheap. It's come down, but it's not cheap by any stretch. And people are figuring out what they have to do in this type of environment. But I think that one play that we had for the first holiday of the summer, that was the pop, and since then, the market has just sat still. In the financial services, I just see problems. I see an oversold market. I get it. The market might want to eventually fight a battle at this 18-day average, but for the time being, it's down. And if the market starts down lower tomorrow and gets through these lows of 32.52, you might be reaching for the lower Bollinger Band here of the 32.05 area. You'd have to go all the way up through that high to negate the downtrend. What really happened here, by the way, you ran into the first challenge of the 200 to 100-day averages, and I told you I thought it would fail at that if you get my morning videos. And by the way, on those morning videos, remember, you see the button here if you're watching me on YouTube. Give it a click. That's how you get in and watch those first thing in the morning. Now in XLI, the industrial sector, again, I think you'll fall back to the 18-day average. You lost the embedded reading. It's a bet that it'll do it. It's a high probability. And from there, the game will start. So a little more of a correction, I think, needed here. NVIDIA, finally a correction. Look how this market has now fallen from near the 440 level all the way back down to 406. It's not enough. I mean, this market popped. Remember, this is the AI pop. So this is a market that came from 300 to 440. This is the first minor break. I'm much more interested if you can get any legs to the downside here, looking in the 360s, not necessarily looking up there. Am I hoping and dreaming? Probably. In stocks? No, I told you I had a problem with this. NVIDIA was the buy, not stocks. And stocks lost its way right here. And when that happened, it lost its embedded reading, and it has fallen into the 18-day average. Could it go lower? Yes. It's got to prove where, after this monster run-up off of AI, where it can find itself a trading bottom. You're not there. Let it develop. It would be my advice. In the home builders, I still remain friendly. Until you lose the red line closing under 79, that'll be the bigger correction. Now, we're going to get home sales tomorrow. We're going to get Case-Shiller. So we're starting to get a lot of numbers. If the market decides to pop, because it is in an uptrend, you still have 79, 77. But that'd be a whole new high for this market. Does it have the power in it? I question if it does, but that's what I'd be looking for if it does pop. In the energy market, are we coming down to these numbers? Yeah. You know, the Biden administration hasn't been buying an awful lot of energy. In my report tonight, I show you how much money, my written updates, how much, not money, how many barrels we have sold out of our strategic reserves, and we don't seem to buy anything. I mean, the Biden administration just is very content. God forbid we have a real problem. You got like 300 million barrels, 380 million barrels left. That's not a lot. We want to put back into that storage what we need to get in there. Remember, they sold out at a high number. They can be buying at any price here and starting to refill. In GLD, gold's fighting the headwind, as you know, of the strong interest rate market right now. That is the problem it has. And a group of central banks that are meeting, as we're talking, in Sintra, Portugal, out of Europe, deciding what they want to do to fight inflation as central bankers. It's going to be under that pressure temporarily. Let's see what comes out of Portugal. In SLV, well, this to me is an industrial matter. It came back to the 200-day average in the Bollinger Band, bounced from it, but does that look to you like anything that's ready to go up? You know, it might soon develop a pattern, but it doesn't have it right here. And in copper, you've got a problem. Every analyst I see on TV does talk about, you know, when things start picking up in industry, copper's what you want to own. I'm one of them. But things haven't picked up in industry, and I don't think copper's where I want to be right now. In BND interest rates, again, I like the ones like TLT that are the 20-year back. I don't think those interest rate numbers are going up an awful lot anymore. I think the short term is where the central banks can move the market, be it the Fed, be it the European Central Bank, Bank of England. Those are the ones that I look in the short term. Longer term, I'm wondering how close we are to a top. In the dollar, we had been in a corrective mode. Now the market's fighting for its direction, right against the line in the sand, as I call it, the 18-day average of closes. And last, in the euro, market is now losing its embedded reading. Any reading under 79's it. It could be ready to move all the way back here. If it does, that's even more bearish for the metal markets because that means the dollar would get stronger. So try to put that all together. You do that, you come up with ideas, and that's where you're at with this. Want to remind you about our special report. All you need to do is move your cursor up here, give it a click, and away you go. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a great evening. I'll see you first thing in the morning.